What other natural resources do we get from our earth that help how we live? Adeline? Plants. But what do we get from plants? I put food here, so do you just go grab a plant and eat it?
No.
So what kind of food do you get from a plant?
Strawberries.
Strawberries, a fruit. Carrots. An apple, which grows on an apple tree. We can also get clothing or paper. Many things come from trees or other plants. Some other natural resources we said were soil, which we can use to grow those plants. We can also get oil from them. Water. Why is water such an important natural resource?
Because there's a lot of stuff that you need for water to drink.
We need to drink water because if we don't, we could die. Yeah, water is very important to your body. Deshaun?
Yeah, milk for your body so you can get strong.
Okay, it does help you to grow. But what other reasons do we use water? Not just for drinking.
We use it to wash our hands.
Wash our hands, take a bath. Fish. Those fish in the water we can get to eat for food. Also sunlight. Now some of you had said yesterday that sunlight gives us electricity. It does not, because electricity is not a natural resource, but it can give you power. The sunlight can power certain things. Calculators. Sometimes you need the sunlight for the calculator to go on, otherwise it will not work. Yes, Raylene?
Sunlight used for things for if you put a solar power on your roof or something and it's sunny, it'll make something electricity work.
You're exactly right. And sometimes people put panels on the roof of their house and the sun will heat it up and it'll warm their swimming pool. So it's doing a job. And lastly, we put up physical features because up here we said how can the physical environment affect the people who live there. So we talked about our environment where we live and different landforms or features that we can see. Now, which of these landforms do we have where we live? Right here in Winston-Salem. We have rivers.
A lake.
A lake. There's Salem Lake right over here. And a lake is a body of water that has what all around it?
Maybe like trees?
Trees are land. There's land all around it. Raylene?
Bees.
Okay, that's an animal. That's not a landform. We do have mountains, not right here in Winston-Salem, but a little drive away. There's plateaus, which we do not have here. Where would we find a plateau? In what kind of environment?
Farm.
On a farm. Christopher?
Desert.
In a desert. You're exactly right. It has a flat top. Volcanoes. Do we have volcanoes here?
No.
So we need to think how this environment, the landforms there, and the resources affect how people live. That's what we're going to talk about today, is how the physical environment affects people, either for the better or for the worse. So in your teams, each team will get a cup. It may have a landform on it. It might have a region like a desert or an island. Your job is to close your eyes. You're only going to have a few minutes to do this. Pull out your landform or region. Read it to your group. I want you to tell them that, for example, if I pulled out lake, how could a lake help people who live near it? Well, maybe they could get some fish from that lake that they could eat. How would it negatively affect the environment? Well, maybe if the lake dried up, maybe if there wasn't enough rain to fill that lake, it could dry up and then there would be no fish. And then you could also tell them what a lake is. You may use your landform cards if you need to. So I could say a lake is a body of water. What is a lake smaller than? What is a lake smaller than? It's smaller than an ocean. You're exactly right. But it is surrounded by land. There's land all around it. And lakes are not always in a circle. Sometimes they're very funny shapes. But there's land always all around it. You would put your card back in, and then the next person goes. You may absolutely use those if you are not sure what your landform or region is. Grass, dirt,
So
natural resources can you find They sure do. And it could be mountains around there. You can have that too. And two landforms I want you guys to look at your cards at a lake. Point to lake on your little white sheet. Read those first 4 words quietly to yourself. Irvin, read that to me.
Salt or fresh water with
Salt or fresh water. Some lakes are salt water, some are fresh water. If you were so thirsty, and this is where that's the only landform you had to help you, would you want your lake to be saltwater lake or freshwater, and why?
fresh water because you don't want to get sick.
Okay, that could be a reason why. Christopher, what do you think?
Fresh water because if you drink salt water, you can die.
You could get dehydrated. That salt like sucks all the life out of you. And it'll make you even more thirsty and even more thirsty. So some people think like ocean water is salty. They just keep drinking it, they're going to get very, very, very sick. You're exactly right. Okay, go ahead and put your little papers back in your cup. Tell me what you know about an island. Amari?
It has trees.
It can have trees.
It has lots of sand and you have to walk through. Sometimes it has streets, so you have to walk through it to find somewhere to go, to find somewhere to live.
Okay, but there's something really special about an island compared to other regions or landforms we've learned about.
That the islands, they're big and
They can be big. Deshaun?
it's around water.
Yes, there's water surrounding it.
And you can catch fish and eat.
You could catch fish and eat them, so that could be a natural resource of an island. They can be big. The state of Hawaii is made up of many, 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 many islands. They can be very small. They can be smaller than this. You can have an island that's the size of this carpet and all you have is one tree. And what is all around you? Water. Salt water. So you're going to turn and talk about one positive way that living on an island, I think we just said, was that you could get fish. So let's talk about a way that living on an island could negatively affect how people live there, how it could hurt their life or make it harder to live. Go ahead, 30 seconds. What if you lived here and you needed to go to Walmart? You needed some tissues or something. What's the problem?
You can't, cause it don't have any rush. It doesn't have any.
How would you get to land around it? Are you stuck there forever?
No.
No. What could you do?
You can swim or fly in a helicopter.
Okay. Antonio, what else could you do? Can you think of another way than just swimming?
Go in a boat.
In a boat. You're exactly right. Is a boat a natural resource? Why or why not? Rachel?
It's not because people have to make the boat.
They have to make the boat. So what we are going to do today is I'm going to divide you into 2 groups. The island group and the desert group. You want to persuade people, you know what that means? You want them to change their
mind
to move to your region of either an island or a desert. But you have to think, why should people live here? Not just because it's beautiful. You need to tell them what natural resources are there that will help make their life easier. You need to keep them alive. What natural resources can people find? And then remember, how will this environment affect how people live? You want them to have a good life. You don't want them to dehydrate, not have any water. Tell them the ways they can get water. How can they get food? Don't tell me now. You're doing your group.
Tell you something.
What?
They do have coconuts. You can do that.
Okay, don't tell me that. Tell your team. Okay? Think of the landforms that are there. That would be on What does that come from?
Palm tree.
A palm tree, which is a resource. Okay? So when I call your team, quietly stand up. Team 1, go ahead back to your seats. But I want your team to work together, not argue, work together. There are questions here to help you figure out what should go on your poster. Thanks, right here. When we finish this, tomorrow, you will get to create your own island so that people who live there can stay alive. But you need to think of positive ways that we can affect the people who live there, okay, by our natural resources. So let's have teams 1 and 2 push a chair quietly. You're going to work together.
Sometimes the desert has those inside of the street lights.
Yeah, okay.
And it has,
You can drink it, it's really good for you.
It has like
You can eat the coconut.
something like has water and it has a little bit of fruit.
Okay, so you guys work together and you're going to come up with the natural resources that people can find there. If you forget what natural resources are, look back up at your chart. Okay, work together. You can make big pictures. You don't have to do sentences. You can do pictures with labels or captions. Okay,
Okay,
go
I have a
ahead.
question about
Yes,
something.
sure.
Like when they dig holes, it has dirt, and when it rains, doesn't it make dirty water?
It could, but if you had nothing else, wouldn't you rather drink dirty water than nothing?
Yeah.
Okay, mind you, I'm going to cut you off there. I want you guys working together. Go ahead. Okay, coconut water. Where would you get the fish from?
The water from the water?
And what is that water called around it? It's a landform. Ocean, Giovanni. You got it. You have an ocean full of fish.
You should live here because
It's better than the fish aisle at Walmart. Okay, go ahead. You might want to have one person come up to your natural resource poster to see what else you have there.
The sun, it helps you get power, and wind, it's not that hot. The wind can like cool you off, and you can get water from the cactuses. Because so you are not you don't have to worry about wearing a coat because it's really hot there and it doesn't get cold much.
Okay.
And for something to eat, you can eat it because like there's nothing to eat. You can eat a snake and a camel because the meat and a lizard. And like to get somewhere, you can ride a camel.
Wow, where is your resource? That was very smart. Give him a clap. I feel a little bit better if I had to move there now. I think I might be able to stay alive.
You can eat fish and coconut. Instead the juice, you can just eat the coconut.
Okay, and what does the coconut come from?
The coconut comes from the trees.
The tree, the palm tree, which is a it's a natural resource.
And
You told me fish I can eat.
and sunlight.
Sunlight.
The sunlight helps the plants grow so you can grow food to eat.
You're exactly right. What else can the sunlight do?
Power up.
Power. Yep. And what did you put last?
The
Oh, the plants. And what could you do with those plants?
You can grow food on them and eat the fruit.
You're exactly right. You guys did a good job of using your resources. Excellent. Sit down. I was teaching 2.G.2.1, which was giving examples of ways in which the people depend on the physical environment and natural resources to meet those basic needs. I wanted the kids to understand how the physical environment, no matter where it is, can affect the people who live there positively or negatively.
And what do you think worked about the lesson?
The kids collaborated really well. It was hands-on. We related it to their real world. And I think they did a really good job with explaining the positive and negative effects.